Today we are talking about visualizing. Again, I've said this a million times and I will continue to keep saying it. Dance is very mental. We need to understand that when we walk into a dance studio, we are working on many different aspects. We are using our creative sides, we are doing a physical activity, we're a team, we're working with others, we are engaging our muscles, and we're doing like mathematical work sometimes. And so sometimes we need to approach things differently. Everybody learns differently. And sometimes being visual helps. It gives us something that we can personally relate to and understand better when our bodies aren't always cooperating with us for the physical needs. So, there are a few analogies and visualizations and things of that nature that I give my dancers. Oftentimes, we relate a lot to food. Frappes are a good example of that, but they're not food related. Um, in that case, I actually teach my dancers for a frappe that you think of a lightning bolt striking. Your leg looks like a lightning bolt when you are doing a flexed frappe, and it looks a little like a lightning bolt when you're doing a pointed one. And that helps give us the visualization then of the lightning striking the ground and brushing away from us. Now, if you need more examples on that, I do have videos on frappes from earlier on in the year, so feel free to swing back to those. Another sense of visualization that I use would be a really fun toy. So I equate our backs to that of a slinky or a coil of sorts, where when it's compressed, it doesn't move much, it just kind of stays solid. But if we treat each of those coils like the vertebrae in our spine and we lengthen, all of a sudden now we are able to be more mobile. So we can stretch from side to side and we can go front and back. And this gives us much more mobility, unlike when we are stuck, closed. Then we become rigid. The slinky analogy helps. It's a little out there, I get it, but it teaches our brain to kind of be a little outside of the box and to help understand how to lengthen. Another example that I give is a pulley system. So when we stretch and we lift our leg up, we sometimes need a little help because we hold a lot of tension between our hips and our quads and our hamstrings and all that stuff. I give the visual of a pulley. I've kind of drawn one out here. It's a little rough, so don't mind me. This point down here would be our hip. This point up here would be our foot. If you think of your leg going up into the air, and our body would be over here. If you think of your leg going up into the air, you want to treat it as though it's a pulley, so your leg can just magically float. This is something that I encourage when we go to do jumps, our ground mas. Anytime our leg needs to leave the floor, this visualization helps. Now, there's more to it than this. This is not literally how our body works, but it helps trigger the right muscles, and that's what's important. So if you think of there being the top end of the pulley at your foot and you're pulling up to the top of your hip, so that's the front side of your leg, that goes up through your quad. If you think of your quad and everything pulling up, you're allowing, if you think of the rope going down the back of your leg, you're allowing that hamstring to lengthen and push. That pushes your leg up. And again, this goes back to our whole lengthening. You've got to breathe throughout all of this. But having this visualization of a pulley and you can just hoist your leg up helps. Again, there's more to it. There's a lot of logistics of how your muscles properly work in there and everything, but it usually gets the job done. This can be said for really any limb that we are working on. Primarily, though, it's the legs that need more of this visualization. Again, there are a number of other ways. So if you feel like a step may be challenging, visualize what your instructor or choreographer is doing if you need a little help. Think about how the word translates from, usually it's French or Italian root word, into the language that you speak. And when you understand what you're doing, think about how that relates to something you are more comfortable with. Pulleys are something a lot of adults especially can understand. Slinkies are something that almost everybody can understand, and things like that. So get creative if you're having a hard time, and you may surprise yourself and find that it's a lot more understanding when you have a visual cue that you can tell your body to follow through with. I will see you tomorrow as we talk about trusting your body. I will see you then.